everyone, and welcome back to the Modern Mythmaker. Today's post is called Don't Be Right About What's Holding You Back. And it was inspired by a video I watched and a quote I took from Alex Hormozi, which was, "Do you want to be right about the fact that your life sucks?" The big idea is, if you believe that you're a victim, you're right. If you believe you have power over the situation, you're right. This is not anything new. This is not anything that I made up. But I do have an anecdote that I think will help reframe this situation for anyone who is in a similar place. Now, you can be right about the fact that the world is stacked against you and that you'll never do anything, or you can be happy, fulfilled, and live in abundance. They're mutually exclusive, but one has to kill the other. And being a human being is hard, guaranteed. Misery and bitterness are not. As I've said in other posts, I believe that bitterness is always a failure of imagination. In my brief time as a Peace Corps volunteer in Nepal, before we got evacuated due to COVID, I had several conversations with my Nepali host family that made me feel like an uber privileged soft wimp in the best way possible. One of the most memorable was talking about their experience in the 2015 earthquake. When that quake came, it destroyed everything. It splintered the support beams of their dirt floor home, folded it in on itself, and then just dropped most of it into a sinkhole along with their farm animals. Everything they'd built was gone. Where they'd lived for 3 generations was just crushed into an unrecognizable pile of rubble, with the animals they depended on for their livelihood smothered or crippled. I learned about this on one Sunday when my host brother walked me up the hill to show me where his family lived when the earthquake hit. There was nothing left on that spot to suggest that 3 generations of people had lived there. He relayed the story through hand gestures and the meaning that we could put together through using a Nepali English dictionary. What stuck with me was his response when I asked, "So what did you do after the earthquake?" And he looked at me kind of confused and smiled and said, "We built another house." Their house got knocked down, so they built another one. There were a lot of moments like that in Nepal. I was consistently blown away by the hardiness and pragmatism that the people I had met had in the face of corruption, a harsh environment, and extreme poverty. And I really, really want to get across that staying stuck in a victimhood mindset and never moving forward is a tool of, not a tool, it's a sign of immense privilege to be able to sit there and not be sure what to do next, because it means that your basic needs are met, so you can just freeze forever and you're not going to worry about starving to death. For that Nepali family, after that earthquake, they could have sat around and analyzed why it happened and blamed everyone. They could have raged against the unfairness of it, but they needed shelter, so they built another house. At the end of the day, we can blame or we can build. We can blame politicians who won't release certain lists. We can blame billionaires who have things we don't. We can blame our parents who should have known better and raised us perfectly. We can blame our physical abilities. We can self-diagnose ourselves with the mental disorder that's popular today. The list will go on forever if you let it, but blame is a drug. You can always take bigger and bigger hits to explain bigger and bigger problems. There's always something to blame for why we don't live the life we want. And we do live in a chaotic, complex world with evil people and broken systems. But we also have sex and chocolate and barbecues and family and friends and great movies and good food and forests and all of the endless things that make life worth living. And we also live in a world where there's a history of evil people taking power and a history of good people choosing to live despite that. Blame, like anger, is a poison that only hurts the user. And when the chips are down, all we have is what we believe. Do you believe that you had it harder than everyone else and you'll never achieve what you want to or live in abundance because life is just so damn unfair? You're right. Best of luck, and I hope it works out. Now, do you believe that you can build and rebuild whatever you want despite all the misfortune in your life? Do you believe that even if it wasn't your fault, it's your responsibility and you want to do something better and live well, which as I can't remember who said it, but living well is the best revenge. If that's true, you're right. And I would love to help you co-create an unimaginably abundant life. That's all for this week, folks. Thank you for tuning into the Modern Mythmaker. I'm Aaron Nichols. If you are watching on YouTube, please don't forget to subscribe. If you're on Substack, share it with a friend. And if you are listening on a podcast platform, please take a second to give us a good review. It is something that helps us grow better than anything else. I will see you next week.